biggest cyber attack in U.S. government history. The Obama political appointee who failed to protect the personal information of tens of millions of federal employees, including spies and those in the military, she is out of a job. This afternoon, the White House announced, amidst a rising chorus of calls for her firing, the president had accepted the resignation of the director of the Office of Personnel Management, Catherine Archuleta. She resigned under mounting evidence that she seemingly ignored ear-splitting alarm bells, warnings dating back 8 years over how vulnerable her agency's cybersecurity was to hackers, and also after charges that she may have misled the public and Congress about just how deep this massive hack really went. We now know the actual number of soldiers, diplomats, CIA operatives, FBI agents, and other federal employees ensnared in this sprawling hack exceeds 21.5 million. Let's bring in Republican Congressman from Utah, Jason Chaffetz, who chairs the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for being here. I know you called for her to be fired. When Director Archuleta appeared before your committee, you said 32 million people you think had their information stolen. The information we have now is that it's about 22 million. Is OPM still not disclosing everything?
Well, Director Archuleta had testified in February that they had the records for 32 million people. So if the number's only 22 million, right, you know, count our blessings, but that's still an unbelievable large number of people who are affected.
Do you think what she said in front of your committee constitutes lying, constitutes perjury?
Well, look, I don't think she was competent to hold that job. She was shallow at best in her knowledge about how this works. And I don't think she was full and complete in answering how pervasive this problem might have been. But, look, the president did the right thing. He obviously made a change there, but she should have never been in that position to start with.
Have you heard of anyone trying to use this information? Because the hack took place last year, right? So there could be people trying to do identity theft, or even worse, of course, trying to blackmail people.
The worst thing, the thing we're really concerned about is the intelligence ramifications. So if they've had this information for a long period of time and they can start to create the map of who is doing what, who has been working on covert type of activities, that is the biggest concern. You wouldn't necessarily see that. It's not like they're trying to go in and use your credit card to get, you know, some sort of product at Best Buy or something. No, the intelligence part of this equation is what is most concerning.
Looking at the incidents in the last few years, which do you think compromised U.S. intelligence assets more? Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning's leak of information, Edward Snowden's leak of information, or this hack?
This may be in the #1 spot because you're talking about individuals going back to 1985, people who had filled out applications, may not even been hired, but people who were hired. And so when you have literally millions of people who have been in our system, you have intelligence agencies that might be able to go back and map something. So I worry about those families, and then they have to live with this. People who have done this type of work for the United States, they're going to have to live with this for the rest of their life, looking over their shoulder, wondering, what do these other people know about me?
And when you talk about these other people, are we 100% sure that it's the Chinese?
I can't talk about that at this point. I think they're still trying to decipher and figure that out, but you just don't know when it's in electronic format whose hands it may or may not have gotten into. So we really don't know.
I know we're talking about a worst-case scenario of somebody who is undercover, works for the government, is an intelligence operative, and let's say that their personnel file discloses mental health issues, discloses a gambling problem, discloses any sort of information that might be able to be used to blackmail them. What other kinds of troubling scenarios are we thinking about?
Well, there's more than 1 million people that were just neighbors and friends and maybe school teachers, and their information was compromised. You have over 1 million fingerprint identifications that were released that were compromised that are out there too. So biometric data that has been out the door. And one of the deep concerning problems is they still haven't fixed it. We're still pouring information into the system that is not safe and secure. This is a 1960s system, COBOL operating system without dual authentication, without encryption. And that's still the system they're using. They don't have one that has fixed the problem here today. So moving forward, we're still in the same mess.
It's unbelievable. Congressman Jason Chaffetz, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Jay.